Mayor Pro Tem Corey Branch, and I want to thank you all for coming out here this morning. As we continue our Raleigh Healing Together events, 1 year after the tragic mass shooting in the Hedingham community, claiming the lives of 5 of our great citizens and a beloved pet, wounding 2 of our surviving community members. These events have left a lasting, traumatic impact on our friends and our families and victims who have survived. This has deeply affected our community. Today, our goal is to continue to connect the resources that help and heal and to help us live a better, more communal life. I want to extend the good wishes of Mayor Baldwin, who is sorry she cannot attend today, but is thinking about us and sending us positive prayers. I want to take time today to honor our first responders, the people who were there for us when we most need it, and who are always there when the call is sent. 1 year and 1 day ago, these communicators, officers, medical professionals responded to the call for help. We are going to hear from some of them today. We will start with Dawana Daly. She is a supervisor at our Emergency Communication Center. The people who answered the first call when 911 is dialed. They are the first to respond to the crisis that day, the first call being at 9:05 p.m. Dawana.
Good morning. My name is Dawana Daly, and I'm currently a supervisor for the Raleigh 911 Center. I've been in 911 for about 17 years now, with most of that being spent on night shift. When I first started 911, it was just kind of a job for me and a way to make some extra money. I thought I'd listen to a few crazy 911 calls, tell a few officers where to go on the radio, and that would be the end of it. I thought it'd be a cool way to embrace my inner night owl and be able to do some other things at night on 911. Needless to say, that's not at all what I stepped into. Just as quickly as I was enamored, I was quickly slapped back into reality. Being at work while everyone else is sleeping is not fun. Being at work on weekends and holidays is not fun. The 911 call that drops in your ear is not always the kid with the funny math problem that plays on the news. The officer that you sent to that domestic that suddenly gets ambushed by an angry husband is not the job that you signed up for. And when you get finished with that, you have to, as a 911 dispatcher, turn around and do it again. Maybe the next minute later, maybe the next day. In January 2022, I received a call from a mother whose 8-month-old was not breathing. I had to talk her through CPR for the next 7 minutes until first responders arrived. While working the console in August 2022, we had a call drop that a Wake County Sheriff's Department Deputy Ned Bird had been found gunned down and murdered in the Wake County, in the rural parts of Wake County. 2 months later, we came in and found out that 5 people had been murdered in the city of Raleigh in an active shooter incident, one that we'd never seen that magnitude. In that active shooter incident, we found out that our officer Gabe Torres had been murdered during that incident as well. For the next hours during the night, we listened to the pains and angst of officers on the radio who would watch the killer. They searched for a killer through the night who had destroyed their safety, destroyed their city, and taken the life of one of their own. After each of these incidents, I came back the next day, because for every mother's 8-month-old who stopped breathing, for every officer who was ambushed on the way to a call, there's another officer who was just happy that you knew where he was and got him home. Those are the moments that keep you coming back. Those are the moments that keep me coming back. Those are the moments that keep me grounded and keep me in this job for as long as I've done it. It makes the little sacrifices that we make every day in our personal life just that much more worth it. We do this because we love this. We don't do it to become millionaires. We do it because we love this. We do it because we love each other. We do it because we love y'all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dewana. We're grateful for you and your team for always being there to be there when the phone rings, to answer the call. All those calls are broadcast over the police radios, dispatching officers to the scenes. To recognize the work of the officers who respond to those calls, so many calls here, we have our police chief, Chief Patterson.
Good morning. I'm Estella Patterson, the Chief of Police for the Raleigh Police Department, and I'm honored to be here today to recognize the amazing work of our first responders as they handled the tragedy of October 13th, 2022. And I continue to recognize the outstanding work that they do every day to keep all of us safe. On behalf of the Raleigh Police Department, I extend my deepest condolences to the families of Nicole Connor, Susan Karnitz, Mary Marshall, James Thompson, and our very own Officer Gabriel Torres, and also to the family of little Sammy. We honor the lives of these fallen community heroes, and I will never forget the individual impacts that they made in their families, their communities, and in the world. And I'd like to express my gratitude today for all those who are up here with me today. I thank them for their support of the Raleigh Police Department and the Raleigh community as a whole. I'm extremely grateful to our city and county partners who have stood with us during this very difficult year. To all of our first responders, our call takers, our dispatchers, our responding officers and civilian staff, to all our firefighters and EMS personnel, to our grief counselors and chaplains, I say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Each of you have made an absolute difference in every phase of response in the Hedingham mass shooting. I'm incredibly proud of all that you do, and I salute you because while many were running from danger, you were running to it. On October 13th, 2022, over 400 law enforcement officers and first responders answered the call of duty and responded to the Hedingham community. Many were off duty and came in on their own time. Others remained past their normal shift to protect and serve. A year and 1 day ago is very vivid in my mind. I was in Dallas, Texas at the Major City Chiefs Association conference to talk about ways to reduce violence and improve community safety. And as we were wrapping up for the day, I received an alert on my phone indicating that we had an officer down. The message was encrypted, and I thought that it was mistakenly sent. I immediately contacted one of my staff members and began asking questions, and sadly learned that Officer Torres had been shot, along with several others. Before I could go upstairs and pack all my items to begin my journey to come back to Raleigh, I received a call from Colonel Freddie Johnson of the State Highway Patrol. He said to me, "Chief, I am in Raleigh, and I've already activated aviation support to come to Raleigh to help your officers. They're coming from across the state." The second call I received was from Secretary Eddie Buffalo, who said to me, "I know that you're in Texas, but I am headed to your headquarters on Six Forks Road to the command center to start providing administrative support to your team." Another call I received was from the SBI Director, Bob Schumeyer, stating that the Department of Public Safety was positioned to send an aircraft to Dallas to bring me back to Raleigh. Simultaneously, in the midst of those calls, every law enforcement agency in Wake County, Durham County, Cumberland, Nash, and even as far as Mecklenburg County began sending resources to Raleigh to assist the Hedingham neighborhood. The overwhelming response and support made the difference in stopping the threat and restoring safety to our community. I am most proud knowing that when RPD officers arrived to Hedingham, within a few minutes of the initial calls, the killing stopped. No other lives were lost at that time. The suspect was eventually detained and taken into custody. Our first responders made the absolute difference. And today I applaud their service, their devotion, and their commitment to service excellence. And I encourage everyone here today with me and those who are listening from afar to continue to stand with me in supporting our law enforcement community. Our heroes deserve your unwavering support. Hedingham was a tragedy that we pray will never be repeated. So much grief, pain, and injury came from it. But also, too, came incredible strength, unity, resolve, and love. We are a better community because of it. Yes, we lost Officer Torres, and Officer Casey Clark continues to recover from his injury, but we remain RPD strong. Yes, we lost Nicole Connors, and Susan Carnetz, and Mary Marshall, and James Thompson. And yes, Lynn Gardner continues on her journey to recovery, and she looks amazing. But we remain Raleigh strong. From our individual weaknesses and grief is a collective strength. Let us continue strengthening one another because we are better together. Thank you again for being here, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Chief, for your work every day to keep us safe in our community and to restoring order in the times of need. For an incident like this, law enforcement agencies assist in response. Today, we know that we have a great partner and a great leader, and that is in Wake County Sheriff Willie Rowe. Sheriff Rowe.
Good morning. I'm Willie Rowe, and it's such an honor to be your sheriff. And on behalf of the Wake County Sheriff Office, we stand with you and committed to safeguarding the people and properties of Wake County. Today we remember, today we reflect, today we stand together in support and solidarity, knowing that today is a foundation and a bridge for tomorrow, and a bridge and a pathway to brighter days. Let us say to one another, as he said unto us, "Come unto me and find rest. For my burdens are light and my yoke is easy." As your sheriff and one who cares, I say unto you, lean on me, and together we shall find peace, strength, courage, and the love to go on better together. Like a bridge over troubled waters, I will lay me down. I will hold your hand, and I will help you carry your heavy load. People see our faults, but he sees our finish. Not half done, but already won. Better together, stronger together, we are one. May God continue to bless and keep you. Thank you for this opportunity to be with you today.
Thank you, Sheriff, for your support and for those words. We'll pause for a second. Also responds. Today, we have Chief Brian Sorrell and our firefighter colleague who heard the radio calls, who responded, and at this time, he will come before us and share the moments of the response of our firefighters and our Wake County EMS response, crew members who help those in need. Chief.
Good morning. My name is Brian Sherrill, and I was the Raleigh Fire Department shift commander on October 13th, 2022. I would like to talk a little bit about the fire service's role in events like the one we experienced in Hedingham, and also talk about how we prepare and how we cope. The fire service, like many other agencies, takes a proactive role in public and community safety, and we take pride in being able to help mitigate issues for our citizens. We have a long history of public service and community outreach. Many times throughout history, large catastrophic events have happened, and there is always one common goal in these events: people come to help. In October of last year, such an event happened, and people did come to help. On October 13th, 2022, our day at the fire department started out like many other days do. Firefighters came to work and relieved the off-going shift. Conversations were had between crews about what the previous day held, and plans were made for the day ahead. I remember that day being much like a normal work day, and things were progressing as planned. At the time, I was shift commander for the crews that were working, and the majority of my role was to make sure staffing levels were appropriate and to manage the overall operations of the shift. That afternoon, I remember hearing the call go out. At first, it was not alarming to me, but shortly after the initial alarm, things changed. The urgency in the dispatcher's voice sparked my attention and made me realize that the severity of what was happening. I remember thinking to myself, could this really be the event that puts all of my years of training to the test? And it was. Our crews, along with many others, were already responding, many just seconds away from the scene. What we came across that day, many public safety personnel will not experience in a 30-year career. What we witnessed was many agencies working together to achieve a common goal. Public safety agencies prepare for just about every event you can think of, and we train ourselves to be calm and make solid decisions. That is the hallmark of what we do. We know that the first crews that arrive at an event usually sets the tone for the entire event. What this means is that if the person directing the crews is calm and makes knowledgeable decisions, most of the time the event will be handled appropriately and efficiently. There are several things that need to happen to make a large or complex event run smoothly, and the majority of these things did happen on that day. We train often, have meaningful conversations about events, and have a strong network of public safety individuals to talk with and to learn from. Many classes are taken and many scenarios are generated and worked through. Each firefighter can spend hundreds of hours in class in their career, but this is what makes us better, makes us able to respond effectively and efficiently, and also helps us mentally prepare for what we may see. People often ask, how do we deal with what we see? My answer usually revolves around the strong network of peers, the friendships, and the understanding that this profession is one that we chose, not for the glory, but to simply help others. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Sherrill. We appreciate your work and cannot overstate the dedication and support that we have for you. Thank you. When an incident like this happens, one of the first questions people ask is, how many people did we lose? Our first responders hold back on giving that information because they know on New Bern Avenue, we have some of the best miracle workers at Wake Med Hospital. Today, one of those medical heroes is here with us. I bring before us Trauma Medical Director, Dr. Odiku.
Hi, good morning. I'm O.C. Udekwa. I'm the trauma medical director at WakeMed, and I'm responsible for us being ready, and I also do actively take call as a trauma surgeon. I'm really honored to be here. It is a sad day. We work with the first responders in transitioning care. We see the EMS folks bring in our injured patients. Often there's Raleigh police accompanying them. We all know that we only see the survivors or potential survivors. The providers, as well as the first responders, all do have impacts. They are in some ways victims as well, because the stress of what they see, even with the best critical stress debriefing, we see our own loved ones sometimes in the victims that we bring to the hospital and care for. We're ready, we train for it, but we also know that the outcome is not always perfect. The best medical care is still trying to fix what's broken. And all of us think and wonder if we can't possibly, in some ways, contribute as a community to preventing or reducing the number of victims of violence. One of the things that we're focusing on nationally now is looking on how we can come together to look at firearm injury from a public health perspective, where we can coalesce around what we can do now to try to reduce the likelihood of events. So we're strong advocates as surgeons now for simple things like, can we work with safe storage? How can we help to direct behavioral health interventions to try to reduce the likelihood of victims? October last year, we cared for the people who arrived at the hospital, and fortunately there were some survivors. Amongst the people we cared for were both victims as well as the perpetrator. With critical stress debriefing, I think we're still seeing the consequences, though, of the event, in the sense that everybody is a little bit more tentative. You hear nurses who worry about their kids going to school, and all of this really drives us towards the concept of community. There's strength in community. Let's work together, and let's try to make the place a better place for all of us. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak today.
Thank you for those words, and thank you for the work of the emergency department and all at WakeMed. As we conclude today's remembrance, let's take a breath and think about and remember the work of our first responders. To the first responders who are here, thank you. Thank you for your work. Thank you for your dedication. Thank you for being able to run in when so many run out. The most critical events they train for and pray it never happens. But there's still trauma, there's still thoughts. So as we heal, but not forget, let's stand together and let's be strong. Raleigh strong. Thank you. Have a great day.